All right, 1 2 1 2. Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon, the Lady Elamar. This is the Lady and the Don podcast live. Extra episode for everybody out here that's listening to it as a podcast later on. Elamar, how are you?
Amazing as always, Tony. Awesome to be here. Such a surprise. It's an extra treat to this week. So yeah, awesome.
It definitely is. It's great to be back live on YouTube. So, when we do these live podcasts, you can find it on Teflon TV. So please subscribe to the channel, YouTube channel, Teflon TV, so you can be a part of the live streams when we do it like this. And we are supposed to have a call-in number, but I have not been able to get that done with this new software that we're using and stuff. It's hard for me to get that done. So I will get that done. I promise you, everyone, that will go down, and we will have a call-in line so you can call in and you can get in on these topics. First, let me say what up to a couple of people that are in the chat with us rocking right now. There's Peter Griffins. What up to you? Danny McKay. What up to you? Bernie L. What up? Toka 420. What up? OTDA. What up with you? And what up to everybody else? Casey, Atheist, Randy. What up to you? Michelle Hayes. What up to you, girl? And my condolences to you and your family. I heard about your situation. And Don Tony Teflon definitely sends out his deepest condolences to you and your family. What up to Fernandez T and everybody else? Donis Witch is in the building with us right here. So what up to all y'all? Thank you for joining us on this, I will say, this stream that is I don't know how everyone's going to feel about it, but we're going to talk about it right now. Now, LMR, we know we just did the story about this, and that is about what is this with Amber Guyger?
Yeah.
Amber Guyger, and she was just recently sentenced, and apparently she just got 10 years.
Shame.
10 years in prison. Do you think that is a justifiable sentence for a murder? Now, she was convicted. She was convicted of murder. She's not convicted of manslaughter. This is straight murder that she was convicted of, and she walked away with 10 years. Was that a good sentence for her?
No, definitely not. That man did not deserve to die. And just her giving all the stuff that she did, saying this, and that, tired, didn't know where she was, confused, and that doesn't matter. She's a trained professional. She should know better.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think it sends a really bad message to the community. It just sends another message that cops can still just do whatever they want and get away with what they want. You were really happy when it first went down, and then she got convicted of murder. So let's go back a little bit. People aren't familiar with the story. I'll tell you exactly how it happened. There's a cop from the Texas, Amber Guyger. She comes out there. She comes home from a work of 14 hours. Now, that's the time frame she was. She worked 14 hours. Now, I done worked 14 hours before. I think a normal shift is 12 hours, right? So she worked 2 hours over a normal shift, and she said she was very exhausted about that. She carried up all of her equipment into her apartment in her one arm, but allowed, and that was like 20 to 30 pounds in the one arm, but she still had her gun hand free. She goes up to an apartment door, and she sees that she tries to put a key in it, but it's cracked open. She hears some stuff going on inside there, and from that made her draw her weapon because she thought somebody was in her apartment. And she said she was fearful. That's why she drew her weapon. She enters the apartment, and she sees somebody by the couch. She tells them to put their hands up, and she shoots twice. One misses. The second time hits this man. He dies. And before he dies, he gets shot. Then she realizes, oh my God, I am not in my apartment. I am one floor above my apartment. I'm on the 4th floor. She's supposed to be in the 3rd floor. So she goes over to the guy. She calls 911. She attempts to give CPR with one arm. One arm, not two-handed CPR. She does it with one hand. And while she's doing that with one hand, she calls up her partner that she was having an affair with. And she starts screaming, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job. She really did not try to save this man's life whatsoever. Now, just going from that basic thing real quick, talking about that, I know we talked about this on the other podcast, but do you think that her actions at this particular time when she shot someone was appropriate?
I mean, this is ridiculous. We as adults have worked more than that. And I understand her job is stressful. I don't know what she does. I mean, being a cop, I don't know what her situation is. That's just, that's not an excuse. I'm tired. Well, if you're tired, be aware that you're tired. Recognize the fact that you're tired, and then that you may react differently. And training should be sufficient for that. If you feel you're tired, you automatically should adjust your whatever is your nature or your job. Um, this is just beyond ridiculous. Claiming that tired, claiming then, later on, it just shows the person she is. She was down there. The man was in front of her dying, the man who she shot. And instead of completely just dropping whatever she needs to do, like not to do, her phone, and just give him, the care he needs until the paramedics get there. She was actually, it said that she actually stepped away from that. She actually stopped it. And bringing up her job, man's life is in, danger right now, and she's thinking, I'm gonna lose my job. Really, lady? Really? No, that was just disgusting.
Yeah, it truly was. Well, I have to agree with you 100% that it was disgusting. I mean, let me highlight OTDA's comment. I think it's a good one right there. But I truly think it was disgusting what she did, and I think that she showed no remorse for this man's life when his life was on the line. If she truly had any type of remorse, she would have dropped everything that she was doing,
Yep.
dropped her. Pumped this man's chest with both hands as hard as she could.
Yep.
Went over to him and said, hang in there with me, my man. Hang in there with me. Don't die on me. Stay with me. I'm here with you. I'm here with you. I'm sorry. We never hear her saying sorry. You never hear her saying anything like that. You would never see her start crying in that particular predicament. Now, there's one thing I'm going to say that the prosecution did focus on that I will give her the pass on. And that is the fact that, and I know why they did it, but that is the fact that she had an affair with this cop. I don't think that it really came into play, her having an affair with this guy. I don't think that really had anything to do with the case. I think they were just using that to try to show a kind of a character, but having an affair, it really has nothing to do with her with her in this case. I would have wished that they didn't put that in there. I understand what they were trying to do, but I don't think that was a factor in any way, her having an affair with this guy. People have affairs all the time. It really doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It really doesn't mean you're a bad person. You don't know what's going on in that cop's life. You don't know if he's separated from his wife. You don't know if they have they're swingers and they have an open relationship. You have no idea about anything like that, but they just put that in there to try to, make her character look bad. So I will say that is one thing that I did not appreciate them doing.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually, I was wondering what was the purpose of it at first, to kind of either, obviously, like you said, to kind of make her character not as great, mentioning that she has an affair. So, because of that, she's not a good person. But I wonder if they also wanted to kind of show that she was distracted, to kind of make the case for her that she made a mistake. She was distracted with life and other things in her life, to add, to the wrong floor, everything being the same, because other residents in that area or that building complain that everything looks the same over there. So maybe by bringing up that she did have this affair, that was, I think, it was also mentioned that she wanted to break it off. So they did mention some tension between her and this man that she was seeing. So I wonder if that was the case, where they wanted to, show that there's this other thing in her head, that she wasn't concentrating on the stuff that made her, that was a mistake, but not intended murder. Still not right to bring somebody's life, personal life, into something that actually doesn't. I don't think it relates to that in that particular time. It wasn't proven that it was related.
Yeah, we got BAP0487 says she was distracted by sexing him. She was texting him while Botham was dying. Let's hope that I don't know if it was actually sex conversation going on. Let's hope she was not that stupid, but she does apparently seem to be stupid. Now, she then, after doing that, the Botham dies. She gets arrested for it, and eventually the judge, and everyone else, it seems that they're trying to get her off, right? They allow her to do the castle doctrine, right?
Mm-hmm.
They
Yep.
allow her to do that, which with castle doctrine means that you have the right to stand your ground law. And it seemed like when that castle doctrine came out, she was not going to get convicted, that they were doing everything they could to get her off of being convicted. What
Mm-hmm.
is that the way you felt when you heard that come out?
Yeah, just kind of giving her, although I wonder if that was done to, I mean, not to kind of, I mean, looking at both sides, because that was done by the judge who was a woman, right? She's a
Hmm.
woman,
A
so she
black
kind of,
woman.
black woman, there we go. So it's kind of giving her benefit, not even benefit of the doubt, but kind of giving her, hey, this is your chance. Maybe somebody given this maybe find you either not guilty, but they did not, it didn't look like they were trying to bury her. They gave her chances, but still, even though the chance was given for the jury to consider that, did not work. So she was given all kinds of fair, I would say, fair trial with nothing being held back in her defense.
Yeah, I agree 100% that they were trying to help hook her up. They not only did she have that, but they also offered the jury that they can consider manslaughter. They didn't have to consider murder. They gave her the castle doctrine. It seemed like they were just giving a way for her to get off this thing. But still,
Mm-hmm.
even after all that help, the jury comes back. They put her on the witness stand. She does a little teary-eyed
Mm-hmm.
testimony. She tried to get away with
Mm-hmm.
that. She tried to break down. As I said before, you're in trouble in defense. That when that's the last thing you do is to take the stand in your own defense. That's your last line of defense. So things must not have been going good. Attorneys must have did that. I believe all those tears were calculated.
Mm-hmm.
All the questions, everything was staged. She knew exactly what she was going to say and everything else. It's all just trickery. It's all about perception. That's why they turned her hair blonde. She was not a
Mm-hmm.
blonde when she got arrested,
Yep.
but they did
Yep.
that. They made her blonde so to make her look less threatening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we,
Exactly.
we've seen that actually with the OJ thing. With the I think it was the Time of Life magazine when OJ got arrested, and they darkened his face in the picture to try to make him look more menacing.
Wow.
They added shadows to his
Mm-hmm.
face and everything else, and to try to make him look like he's more of a killer by putting it in the picture. And they did the opposite here and tried to lighten her up by
Mm-hmm.
putting the blonde hair on her to make her look like she's less threatening. And that's the reason why she done it. But when everyone is happy, she gets convicted of murder, right? No, not manslaughter, not anything else. She was convicted of first degree
Mm-hmm.
murder. Premeditated murder is what she was convicted of. All right. So when you seen that, did you have some faith that, hey, justice has been served?
Yeah, it made me wonder about, what was going on. I don't remember reading about, her relationship with that neighbor. If there were any, I'm sure they must have done their homework, to bring up any witnesses. If, obviously they should have done that. I'm sure they did it to see, what the relationship was. Was there any arguments? Was there any, were there any files, filing that she maybe filed something? I don't know. Since he was above her, was she angry because he made too much noise, or maybe she made too much noise and he was angry? Was there anything like that? So I just keep wondering, like, what actually was going through her head, why she did it. That's being convicted is one thing. That's justice, but obviously the sentence that she got is just ridiculous. It's just, yeah, she got it. She's gonna be in jail, but the man is dead. Okay, nothing will bring him back. Nothing, and she'll be out probably in less than 10 years for
Yeah.
various reasons, and they're going to work with her too. I mean, it's not like they're going to leave her there. There will be, this is what you're going to do, this is how you're going to do that, and in this many years you'll be out. Just behave, just be good, be, cry, do the whole thing, write a book, say how sorry you are, do whatever you need to do to make yourself um that you're sorry, that you didn't mean it, that was horrible thing to do. Don't be angry. I'm sure they're telling her not to be angry, just to look down and look sad and look not sad because of she's sentencing, but sad because the man is dead. So I'm sure they're coaching her. I'm sure
Yes,
they're
no
coaching
doubt about it. And as you said, after we get this thing, and I actually thought that when she got convicted with murder, I was like, maybe there's a chance here. Maybe a chance that we can get some justice. I was actually very happy because cops usually get away. We have seen many a cops kill many of black men, whether it's Tamir Rice, and there's a little black boy, Tamir Rice. So as many as we go through, they've gotten away with, not even charged to go to trial. So this was someone who got charged to even go to trial, and the cops who have been charged to go to trial have all gotten off. So we finally got someone who got charged and then got convicted. I was really excited that, hey, maybe things are turning around. Maybe, everyone's seeing that Black lives do matter and that people just matter. All lives matter, but Black lives especially, because we are the ones that are being taken out and killed by police officers at rates higher than any other population of people in this country. So I was thinking that maybe this was going to be a start of something, but nope, not at all, because even though they did all of this, had his mother go up there, had everyone up there go up there and say how much they missed her and everything else, and they did all that, even though we got all that from it, we still get right now that sentencing of 10 years in jail. And and it's hard for me. I don't know who to blame in this situation, because I don't want to blame the victim's family. I really don't, but the brother, to go up there. Listen, I don't know. I have a brother. I have no one that has been murdered in my family, thank God, that I would know about, that I've been in trial, that's close to me, like a brother or sister or anything like that. I don't know anything like that. But I know that he got up there, the brother, he gets up on the stand. He says he forgives her. He doesn't want her to go to jail. He would rather her not be in jail. And that he wants her to make up with God, because that's what Botham would have wanted. And then we see the iconic picture of him going, and he asks if he can give her a hug. The judge says yes, which is in itself, I've never heard of that in my life. Someone allowing them to hug the defendant. I've never seen that ever. A defendant being allowed to give a hug to someone on the witness stand. You're not supposed to be able to do anything like that, right? But he does, and I think this swayed the judge to give this sentencing of 10 years. What do you think? Do you think that's what happened?
I wonder what I didn't know that it was before the sentence was given. I didn't know that. Or the 10 years that she was given. But as far as getting a hug, I think that's forgiveness is like something really difficult. Not everybody can forgive. Some people may want to forgive, they're not able to forgive. So to do that, I mean, he did what he did for reasons that he had. I just wonder if it was I don't want to say if it was just, if she deserved forgiveness, because it's not about if somebody deserves forgiveness. I think it's about people who are forgiving somebody. They want to forgive to forget, in a way. Because if they don't forgive, it's going to stay within them. It's going to bother them. But I'm thinking, if he actually forgave her, not even knowing what she actually meant, what was going through her mind, I think forgiving her, he kind of let it go, so it wouldn't torment him, so that he would be at peace. And then it's up to her what she does with it. If she will be at peace, if she does whatever she does with it. It's not his burden anymore. He doesn't go throughout his day hating on her. Just by forgiving, you're just letting it go. However, showing forgiveness in such a moment that is such a public moment, that's that's tough, because, like you said, it may have swayed the judge, to do more, to give her less than she should have received.
Yeah, and the family wanted 28 years because that was how old he would have been. So, and the brother went up there and he said that he did this without his family's knowledge. He did this without his mother knowing. He just felt like he had to do this. He felt that this is what he had. Now, I do not want to say anything about religion. I don't want to say anything bad about religion. I know a lot of people believe in religion. And if you do, then that's great for you. All right. But this is the problem with religion, is things like this. That, and I understand he wants to. Everything you said was 100% correct. You cannot hold grudges; it'll eat you alive inside. And if this is the way he was able to get that off his chest and say, you know what, I want to forgive you. To me, that was not the time. And I cannot judge this man. It's not my brother; it's his brother.
Yeah.
He has the right to do anything he wants. It's his family. It's his brother. It happened. It affected his family. But to me, as an outsider looking in, that was not the time for forgiveness. After she has served maybe 5 years, or even if you wanted to, after she got convicted and got her years, you wanted to forgive her then.
Yeah.
That would have been the time, because I think it's not, you know, I don't know how to say this without being disrespectful. I'm trying not to be disrespectful to this man, but I think that you're setting a bad precedent for other people, other black people who could be in this situation and get shot. You know, right now we had a chance to send a message to police officers who murder black people on the regular that you're not going to be able to get away with this. And if you do this, you're going to be held accountable. By doing what you did, gave that judge an excuse, as we seen earlier and we talked about, that she was trying to get her off. And I know people want to say, "Oh, she was a black woman judge, and she's got to be. She was on our. She was not. It doesn't matter. She's not on our side. She wasn't on the black people's side at that particular time. She was not looking at herself as a black woman in that situation. She was looking at herself as someone that defends the law and is on the side of the cops. And she was trying to get that cop off by allowing these things to go through in that trial, that castle doctrine bullshit." And now she had her excuse once he hugged her to get this chick 10 damn years for murdering someone. 10 years, which means that by the best of it, 10 years max sentence, which means that she can do no more than 10 years for this. It means she's going to be out in 6. And in Texas law, I do believe there's a good chance that she can be out in 9 months. 9 months.
Can you believe that? If she gets 6 years and all that, there's going to be uproar, right? Because still, it's not 10 years. It should be more than 10. She gets out in 6. Can you believe just like a couple of years from now, when we hear this, that she's out, before 6 years? That's going to be shock. I wonder if they're going to keep it on the down low to make sure nobody knows about it. There are probably more cases like that too, where people get out sooner than they're supposed to get out, and nobody mentions it, because then it would, create all this rightful anger.
Yeah, no, if you look up Texas law, there's a possibility that you can get out in 9 months. The programs that they have in place there, that there's a good possibility she could get out in 9 months. So, I think that 6 years, they're gonna hope that everyone's forgot about this, that it goes away, and no one's thinking about it anymore, and she just gets out and just goes off into the sunset, and that's what it is. But Jonas Wynn said it right here: the justice system will always protect its own. I believe that 100%. I believe that when you're on that side, you don't see color. You're seeing you're seeing yourself as blue, like the blue wall of silence, all on the same side with each other. And I think that woman at that particular time, that judge, that's what she was thinking. And whoever this judge is, judges are voted in. People need to get her name. And if you live in that state, vote her ass out of office. He does not deserve to be a judge anymore after rendering that verdict and giving that sentence. She does not deserve to be a judge out there. She's clearly not someone there for the people. That she's there for the system, and that's it. So how can you get out in 10 years? People have served over 10 years for manslaughter. And the whole thing is that this is straight murder. She's convicted of murder, of murdering somebody. And I'm telling you, Lamar, I hate to say it, I truly do. But if we switch the whole thing around.
Oh yeah.
And this was a
Oh
black
yeah.
man,
Mm-hmm.
cop or no cop.
Yeah.
It's say a cop, just like us, switch it all around, went into the wrong apartment and shot a white woman on the
Mm.
couch while she was eating ice cream.
Yeah.
There is no damn way that that guy gets 10-year sentence.
Yeah. And this happened when 2018. I forgot what month it happened in. I don't think if that the situation that you just mentioned, I don't think that he would be safe all that time waiting for this, because she waited this, I don't know, a year, however long she waited for this to happen, because it happened last year. If it was the situation that you mentioned, if it would be a black guy shooting a white woman, he might not even make it to, to trial, because the hate, all the stuff, he would not be safe at all while waiting for that. So we won't even know if he would be able to make it to the trial
Exactly.
before even being sentenced or found guilty or not guilty of whatever. He might not have made it because of the prejudice, because of the hate, and because of everything that he would have to face. And
Exactly.
and I wanted to add, like, with her, with cops, I don't know how they're trained. I don't know how many hours of shooting they're supposed to get, and the proximity. And it was an apartment, so it was not like a huge house where you can see somebody off there, on the couch far away. If you are, let's say, I don't know, 3 yards away, if you do know how, I mean, for those of you who do use guns, 3 yards, you can aim at somebody's arm, their shoulder, I don't know, their hip, something. You don't shoot and point to kill at that moment. You are supposed to defend yourself in a way. I mean, obviously she was in the wrong apartment, but when you are in danger in a way, you're not supposed to shoot somebody to kill them. You're supposed to make them not hurt you. So she was a cop. She was trained. She was whatever number of feet away. Untrained professionals who are just, using, who are shooting in the range, they can have a really good aim at whatever 15, 17 yards, which is far away. She's a cop. She's trained. She should not have aimed for whatever she aimed to kill him. That's even beyond that. It's just that's why I think there is something more to it, because she could have prevented his death. She didn't have to shoot to kill. She did not,
No, she
and she
didn't,
did.
and she chose to. And
Yeah.
and I think that whole defense, I was afraid for my life. When I seen people, when you're afraid for you, I seen people afraid. All right, I've seen people afraid, and you, especially the situation she was in.
Mm-hmm.
When she seen that door was cracked open and she heard noises in there, she had every opportunity to back away. To back away, hit your little CB, your little radio CB, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hit that up, and then call for backup.
Yeah.
You would have had a million cops there. You're a cop. If you call on your little radio, put that code in there, whatever
Mm-hmm.
the code is, blah 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 blah. Here we go. I need backup here, blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. At this location, there would have been a better. They would have swarmed that place. But
Yeah.
instead, somehow that you're in fear, but yet you still go forward into that. Usually,
Exactly.
people are fearful; they back up.
Yeah. Yeah. You should run. The first thing should be, obviously, the kind of what I say to, if you don't have to hurt people right away. Give them a chance, well, not to, hurt you, but first see if you can get out of the situation. If you cannot, and the door is open behind her, it's not like she was trapped in a corner in a closet with nowhere to run. She came in, she saw him. There's a way to leave. She can leave. She did not leave. She chose to charge, like you said. She chose to go forward and protect her house. Or no, that's just, and I guess he didn't know if he's armed or not, but there's no reason to charge.
Yeah, yeah. There's no reason, and you don't know how many people are in there, right? If you
Yeah.
truly don't know, and you hear noises, you don't know if there's a
Hmm.
gang of people in there
Yeah.
with AK-47s, and then it's the story seems suspect. As I said, I don't want to go into conspiracy theories, but I have heard people say that she wanted to go up. She knew this guy prior, and there's some situation like that. But seeing that she had these racist
Hmm.
texts on her phone, she did not really have any love for black people from what she put up there. And even so, I'm not even gonna allow that to go into what I feel about it, even though it should be a little bit of a factor. I'm not gonna allow it to go into my feelings. Now we have people here in the chat saying that it was the jury that issued the sentence. And if that is the case, then the jury is wrong. And the judge has the right to overturn that and put their second. The jury recommends, if I
Mm-hmm.
am correct. I don't know about Texas law, but in New York, I know the jury can recommend the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And the judge is the one who confirms it. And if the judge doesn't like the recommendation, they can do something else. All right. So that's the way I'm looking at. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's the way it is in New York. Maybe it's a different thing over there.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? I'm not sure about that. But if the jury did recommend 10 years, then the jury's wrong on that situation too. It's the jury's fault. But it's like I really believe that damn hug that he gave her.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't want to badmouth this brother. I really don't, because I have no idea what he's going through. No idea. You know what I mean? I have no idea. I have no right to judge him. This happened to his brother. This is his brother. But I think sometimes people get caught up in this religious shit, and they allow that to affect their decisions.
Yeah.
And I think that is what's going on here at this particular time. He's allowed his religious belief to go through there and say, hey, I'm a God-fearing man. Let God handle this shit. Listen, what if there is no God? Ain't nobody handling this shit.
Yeah.
And I've never heard in my life of someone on the stand hugging the goddamn defendant ever. And I'm telling you, if she wasn't a blonde-haired white woman at that time, I don't think that, because that's the picture. That's the picture on the thumbnail that I'm using, right?
Yep.
That's the picture. That's the picture they showed around the world. There's a reason why they showed that picture, because that don't happen every day. That's not every day. It doesn't happen like that. You know, so I think that was one of the key factors. And I just didn't think it was right. The judge should not have allowed him to hug that woman at that particular time. He might as well just went up there and testified for her.
Yeah.
He might as well just took the stand and testified in her defense. And been there and said all good things for her. That's basically what he did at that particular time. She might as well not even took the stand herself. Yeah. She might as well just sat there and let him just do all the thing. He's gonna sit there and say, I wish you don't even have to go to jail. What kind of bullshit is that, man? It's hard for me to say that. I feel like it's wrong for me to say that, because it's not my brother. And if that's what he wants to say, then he has the right to say it. But come on, man. You're gonna hug this chick? You imagine that? Let's think about it. If that was O.J. Simpson trial, and then his sister would have got up there and said, hey, O.J., Judge Ito, Lance Ito, can I hug my former brother-in-law? They would have said, hell no. Hell no, you can't touch that. No, they wouldn't have allowed that shit to go down. They would not allow that to go down. Because she was a white woman, they allowed that to happen.
Yeah. No, and with this, you know, like you said, it's being circulated all over the world, because that doesn't happen. Exactly, that doesn't happen. And I'm wondering if they're trying to, or they will try to kind of put a pretty bow on it and say, see, forgiveness. It's not so bad, you know. Yes, this happens, but you know, let's forgive each other. Let's forgive one another. Yeah, sure. There is time for forgiveness, but there's also time for justice. And I don't think justice was served this time, not at all. No, they tried it, but they did not do it. There's no justice in this one. Nope.
No, there's no justice when you murder somebody and get sentenced to 10 years after you're convicted, that your sentence is 10 years. I've never heard of anything like that in my life. It's very disturbing to me. It's very, because I think it just gives cops, they say, hey, look, even when we're convicted, we still get off. And it's another cop that's getting off after killing another, what happens to be a black life. And just getting off. And it's just a terrible, terrible situation. I hate having these podcasts, Lamar. I really do. I'd rather talk about, you know, toilet bowls.
Toilet bowls. I was Googling that, actually. I still don't know how that thing works.
And if anyone don't know what we're talking about, please take a listen to the Lady and Dom podcast, the last episode where we talked about these automated toilet
You
bowls and
you
stuff
you
like that.
called it something really cool. I forgot the name of that you called it. Yeah, but you
Oh, the
point
booty bidet.
booty bidet. Love that. You heard it at Tony's first.
That's the booty bidet. So, that was good like that. I would definitely
Mhm.
would definitely
Yeah,
check that out if you never
yeah.
heard that.
Mhm.
Reed Vengeance, let me highlight this comment from Reed Vengeance to let everybody know who's listening to the podcast. As a podcast, we are live right now recording this on YouTube. And Reed Vengeance says, I am from the South, and the R word is only offensive when used in an uneducated manner or a derogatory form. The R word.
Mhm.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so what I think that's a I think she's talking to somebody in the chat at that particular time. Stuff like that. In 2019, it's Bernie L says it's never cool.
Mhm.
And I agree with Bernie.
Yeah.
It's never cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's never cool whatsoever,
Yeah.
and all that. But it was a terrible situation that happened. Thank you to all the people who came out here and watched us. Oh, so the R word
Mm.
is referring to the. Am I allowed to say that word out there?
Not sure. It's
I
a podcast, but I don't know. This is
Yes,
on
yes. So
YouTube.
the R, so people can't see it. The R word they're referring to is retarded.
Mhm.
Is saying that is a derogatory term, and I do believe I agree that is derogatory. I mean, a lot of words are derogatory
Yeah.
that people used to say back in the day. I remember where I used to call Asian people when I grew up. I was grew up calling Asian people Oriental,
Hmm.
and I think now people are saying that that's a derogatory term,
Yeah.
Oriental.
Terms are changing. The world is changing. Like the terms that were fine before, like before you had a secretary, right? Now it's I don't even know what the new term for that is. So even professions are changing their names. So what is right, what is wrong. So
What's wrong?
yeah.
What's wrong with
Sorry, what?
what's wrong with secretary?
I don't know. I was a secretary a long time ago. That was one of my first jobs. I was a secretary. I, for some reason, secretaries have or had an issue with being called a secretary. I don't know. Maybe it's because maybe they think it's a woman, secretary woman versus, I don't know, administrative assistant, which can be both men and women. I don't know. But it's just me. I wasn't offended by being called a secretary. And for those who are secretaries with a new name, administrative assistants, maybe they are, maybe they have their own reason to be,
Wait,
offended by that.
did I say retarded? Like
No,
on because someone's saying, "Hey, Teflon, you should maybe think about dropping the R word from your vocabulary." Did I say that during this podcast at
no,
any particular time?
no. It was just mentioned by
All
one
right.
of the people here in the chat. Yeah.
So I do not I do not I understand what people are saying. Maybe I should put that in my take it away from my vocabulary. I have I haven't said it this time, so I don't know why it
Yeah.
didn't come up or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just repeated it from
Yes, to let people know
what
what
was
was
on
there. Yeah.
what the word was because this is a podcast, so I repeated it. Up, he apologized and said I missed something. All right, there
No.
it is. All right,
Yeah.
so that's what happens live, people.
These recordings are fun.
It's fun. It is fun.
Yeah.
Again, let me thank everybody from out here chilling with us live. LMR, would you please, if you would, I don't know if you can see the chat right now. But if you
Yes.
can, would you please read out a couple of names for the people
Yeah,
who
of
are with us in the
course.
chat?
I see Dornish Wench chilling with us. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name. BAPP0485. I'm bad with numbers, so I probably missed a number here. We have Revengeance, KC, Atheist. We have Bernie L. We have Joe Swag. I'm very bad at scrolling. We have Mandel 211, Matthew Guy, a lot of great people here chilling with us. So awesome. I'm loving this. Thank you for joining us for this.
Definitely, because obviously, usually people don't want to talk about things like that. We got the Don of Ice and Fires up in the building here with us, rocking with us and everything else. What up to my man chilling with us? Ricky Ortega is up in this building. Moni G is up in this building, rocking with us right now. So thank you for everybody out here. We're not done yet. We're not going away yet. We got some time. We're going to talk
Yeah.
about SG 6000. Yo is up in the building with us and everything else. So if you can, please subscribe to the Teflon TV. If you're new here, subscribe to Teflon TV on the YouTube. Subscribe to a Living My Rhapsody on YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast, the Lady and the Don podcast, so you can take this on your whip when you're riding and listen to it. Santavia Major, what up to you and everybody else here rocking with us and stuff. All right, back to this case a little bit. And that's what we're talking about here. So let's get back on focus a little bit. I mean, we have covered a lot to deal with this, but we'll go through it. How long do you think that this woman will serve when it's all said and done? Do you think that she'll do the full 10 years, or
No,
you think she's getting out?
she's getting out. It's almost, I don't see that. The way she is already being, what do you call it, coached, trained to what, and coached right now and trained for later. She's already playing the game properly. They had a year to prepare her for this. Yeah, maybe less than a year. Again, 2018. So they did everything that needed to be done to get her, well, convicted, but sentenced to not what is fair, not for what is just. So I see her getting out way sooner than she. It's not even way sooner. She should not even have 10. She should have more than 10 years, but she's going to get much less. But when you said that, what, 9 months? That is just scary. That's like a biggest nightmare. Can you imagine? For all of you people in the chat, imagine somebody in your family goes through this. Your brother, your I don't know, your husband, whoever, they die like this, and then you're gonna see the killer walking in 9 months.
Well,
That just makes me sick.
it could be 9 from what it is. So in New York, I will tell you this: the way it is in New York, for good time and everything, you will get half plus a year. So if you're sentenced in New York to 10 years, you can get out in half the time, 5 years plus 1 year. That would be 6. So that's what I'm going off of. That it most likely it could be like that in the state. Maybe it's just the 5, because good time is always double time. So every day you serve good time is 2 days, right? So she could, from what I'm seeing, most likely could get off in 6 to 5 years with good behavior. And I don't think that because she's a cop, she's going to go to Gen Pop. I don't think she's going to Gen Pop. I think that she's going to most likely go in police protection, police custody. And I'm not saying that it's a good life. Obviously, you're in prison. It's not a good. I don't even know if she makes it to prison. Hey, keep her in the county jail. Who knows for all this time? But if she does make it, she's not going to Gen Pop because she's a cop. They're going to keep her away from everybody. And as I said, I'm not saying it's a good life for those years. I'm not saying she's living high on the hog. I'm not saying that she's chilling. It's not a Goodfellas movie. She's not bringing in the sausage and living in a little trailer by herself and cooking up sausage and cooking up spaghetti and having a good time like in Goodfellas. I don't think it's going to be like that for her. But I'm saying it's not going to be like it is for all the other people in there serving time. She's definitely going to have a better life than they're having. So so I think that 6 years, 5 years, whatever it is no time at all to serve for murder.
Yeah. And just imagine, not only she got away with just it's a joke, it's not a sentence. It's a joke in a way. And because of who she was, or who she worked for, now she's going to get the same kind of benefit when she's over there. Just think about it, like, for a second. Obviously we're all thinking about it, but when you think about it, that this is somebody who's done something to your loved one, and they're going to get this extra treatment because she needs to be protected because she's a cop, or she was a cop because she was fired, right? But once a cop, always a cop, in a way. Kind of protect your own. It's just sad. I'm saying sad a lot because it's just this world is getting really, really sad with all the stuff that is happening. We can see, yes, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, there's possibility of justice, and yes, they were waiting for this whole year, to get her on trial to do this, and then we get this. We get 10 years.
10 years. There's no light. There's no light for us black people in the tunnel. It's just a goddamn train coming
Yeah.
right at us to run us the goddamn over because this is bullshit. Yes, she was fired from her job. So what? Obviously, she should have been
Yeah.
fired from her job. That should have been the first thing that happened to her.
Yeah.
We're talking about someone who got convicted of murder here and is only serving 10 years. Santovian Major, she says, let's bring this up real quick. Or was she released on her own reconnaissance? I don't know if she was in jail this whole time. I don't believe she was in jail the whole time during the trial. I believe they did say that when she got convicted, that was her first night that she actually spent in jail. So she was either bailed out or released on her own reconnaissance. But usually you don't see that for murderers. You don't usually see that, but they feel like they can get around with that. She's not a flight risk. She's not this. That's why they let her go. You know what it says, please highlight Matthew's comment. Which one is this? She was fired? Is that the comment I'm supposed to highlight from Matthew?
Let's see. I'm not sure.
Oh, I'll put this one.
Oh my gosh, it says her cell will have Amber, so she knows where she's at. Because they all look the same, right? She has to get to the correct one and not attack somebody. You're my cell.
Exactly. You never know what she does. She thinks somebody's in a cell. She may attack this person. She may kill this person for being in her cell.
That's a ridiculous thing. Seriously, I'm laughing. It's not like it's funny, but her saying, "I didn't know I'm in a wrong apartment." Really, lady? 13 and a half hours. What were you doing? This is not labor. There are jobs that are more stressful. I'm sure they're stressed out, but there are jobs like a surgeon, like somebody who actually works on the brain all the time. That's a stressful job, to connect the tiny little things. And there are other, professions that are so very stressful. And cops do have different jobs. They don't always go out, on the streets. And some neighborhoods are very calm. There's nothing to do, which is true. Some neighborhoods are very calm. We don't know. 13 and a half hours in her neighborhood. I don't know what she did. I don't know where she worked. But let's say 4 hours in the bad neighborhood, that will give you nightmares. It's like working 20 hours. So 13 and a half hours is not a reason. I went to the wrong apartment. Please, lady.
Yeah, I think they did everything they could to get this young lady off. They did everything they could. They didn't want to convict her of anything. They wanted her just to go home scot-free from this. And when the jury came back with the verdict, they still got her off in the end. And so I don't want to blame the brother, but the hug heard around the world at this particular time. That was allowed by the judge, that allowed him to hug her at this particular time. And everything, I think that stuck the nail in the coffin for all of us who were looking for justice for this chick. And as I said, it's hard for me to say anything about it, because that's not my brother. That's his brother, and he's the one who did it. And what was I going to do? The hug wasn't after the sentence. BAPP. Yep. He says that the hug was it was after the sentence. It was not after the sentence. He gave the hug while they were doing testimony. They were giving testimony there for the sentence. It was not after. So they had people come on the stand. They had the mother. They had all of her family come up and give her their statement how she was molested when she was younger, which I don't know what that has to anything to do with anything. Wow. But her mother came up and said she was molested. They had all his family members come up there. And then that is when he came out and said it during the impact statements phase. It was not before the sentence. It was before the sentence, not after the sentence.
But you mentioned something I didn't catch, that her mother said that she was molested as a child, or
yes.
See, if that was the case, then I'm sorry, but you don't. If she apparently, if the mother says that might have been an issue. First of all, why bring it up? Second of all, if that was an issue for Amber, she should have been screened before she was given a gun. You don't put
Exactly.
somebody with trauma that is not resolved. You don't want. She may be, having to go to a scene where, not a scene like a murder or anything, but a thing that there's a, let's say, I'm assuming, for example, I'm assuming maybe by her father or by her whoever, an adult, right? That's the thing. And she sees an inappropriate situation. What would stop her from pulling a gun on that person before that person, is being like, no, I'm just, let's say, doing this. There's nothing wrong with that. She might react to a situation that she herself suffered from. She should have been screened for that. And if she was screened for that and she's been cleared, everything, I know there's a whole process for, they ask neighbors, they ask if there is even a promotion, they will ask around the neighborhood and ask if about the character of this police officer. They don't have a problem. We had a case in our neighborhood where we had police officers or somebody who was they were being interviewed, and they were asking us, this is their form, they signed it, we're allowed to ask these questions, and they asked me all kinds of stuff. I could say no to everything, like I'm not going to answer this, but I was encouraged to give my honest opinion about this person. So there's a screening process for that, for any issues. Apparently she wasn't screened enough, and if she was, why would this mother add that component to her life? Not only her affair was exposed for no reason, that's her private life. Didn't seem to be an issue in a way, although she was distracted, but I mean, come on. People can kind of multitask. But bringing her childhood trauma? No. Just to make people feel like, oh, we're sorry. Yes, of course, that's a bad thing that happened to her, but it has nothing to do with this case.
Yeah, it
Nothing.
has zero to do with the case. It's really just all just to make it. Oh, she was molested when she was younger. Well, then she should have gotten counseling for that. From the beginning, and it was
Yeah.
just something to make you try to feel sorry for her, to give her a reduced sentence, like she's already been through stuff in her life that she doesn't deserve to get any hit with a hard sentence.
Hmm.
It has nothing to do with this case whatsoever. But I understand it's a mother, right? That's her mother. And I
Yeah.
understand that you're going to defend your child no matter what. That's what mothers
Yeah.
do, no matter what. And I do not blame the mother for doing that. I think probably the mother was coached by the lawyer
Yeah.
to say it. And I understand her trying to defend her child. She's not going to get up there and say, "Listen, my daughter did a bad thing. Throw the book at her." She's not. She's not going to say anything like that. She's going
Yeah.
to say, do whatever she can to save her baby. And I do not blame her for going up there. It has nothing. It's irrelevant. 100%
Mhm.
irrelevant to the case that was there. As you said, if it was a factor, she should have never been given the job in the first place.
Yeah.
If that was the
Yeah.
case.
And it's scary. When you think about it, there's a comment here. Santivia says, the police department also the police department for letting this crazy bitch on the force. Exactly. I mean, from personal experience, when even years ago, we had I was taking different classes. I'm a psychology major, so I was given different classes: sociology, psychology, philosophy, all that kind of stuff, all kinds of stuff. There was a cop who was taking a class, a 101, psychology, and I think sociology 101. I'm sorry, but that dude, I don't know what he did, and he was a young man. It was just embarrassing. They don't. He wasn't qualified, according to me. Now I know better. I have my degree. I know that he wasn't qualified to deal with people on that level. You can meet everybody. You can meet somebody who has issues with behavioral issues, but not the violent ones. They just don't know how to communicate. There are cases of autism, being involved. Like, let's say somebody is autistic. They will be, if they don't respond to, let's say, put your hand down, they will shoot the guy. The person doesn't understand what they're not trained for that. There's a lack, for what I noticed personally, such a lack of training, because that person in my classroom barely passed it, and he was like, oh, I just need to be here, I just need a little paper, I just need a C plus or C or something. I'm like, I don't need to know that. I seriously don't need to know how much failing you are allowed to do just with a little paper. That's not something to brag about. And just imagine how much lacking, how they're lacking in actual skills. They're dealing with people, and they're not trained enough at all to deal with people. It's scary, it's sad, and it's just repulsive.
Yeah, the lack of training that the cops have is disgusting, and it's different. You know what I mean? There was a difference between cops and these police officers back in the day. Back in the day when you were a police officer, you knew the people in your community. You were able. They walked beats. They walked around the neighborhoods that they patrolled on foot. They got to know the people in their community, and they got to care about the people in their community, and the people in their community got to care about them. Now we have these police who stay in the car all day, and they first reaction when they see a threat, especially if it's a black person, is to shoot. It's not that so that they do not get hurt. When you take the job as a police officer, they give you a bulletproof vest and a gun for a reason, because it's a dangerous job. Your badge is called a shield.
Yep.
A shield. A shield is something that takes the hit from the people. You're supposed to protect the people. So that means your life is on the line when you take that job. You know this, and you're supposed to wait that extra half second.
Yep.
Before you pull that trigger. But instead, these cops nowadays, they are not the shield. They are just the sword.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as they feel any type of threat or perceived threat, they're not taking that half second. They're shooting you before that half second comes up. And they're killing people. And they're going to take their chances in the judge room, in trial. And as you've seen, they keep getting out and keep getting off. So it's why wouldn't you keep doing this if you were a police officer, if you see everyone keep getting off on it? Why wouldn't you do that?
And the thing that you mentioned, this is so true I mean, I just have an example of that too. Like, you are supposed to take a pause, right? I don't know. I have not gone through the training that the cops go through, and actually have not gone through. There's training to the place I go to, and they say for self-defense, they tell you to, and I heard it like right in the booth next to me, to take a moment and then shoot. You're not supposed to turn and shoot blindly. You're supposed to give your brain moment to process something. And if this is true for people who are just regular citizens, right? If they're being trained to, if you're protecting yourself, if somebody's coming at you, and there's a whole, bunch of people. And she told them, turn, look, and then shoot, if need be, she said. Obviously, she was telling them to train to pause for a moment. This cop should know better. Training, I'm sure there's some training. I mean, I'm hoping there's some training, and she was just a bad example of everything that could have gone wrong. Because if this is the case, if this is how triggered they are, it's just a scary world.
I remember there was a case of a guy, and I forgot his name, but there was a mentally disabled kid, and the kid was acting up. So the cops come out, and this was, I believe that it was an Asian police officer at the time, and they all come out and they pull their guns. He's laying on the floor, the black man. He's laying on the floor. He works for like the house that he's trying to get this kid under control. He's laying on the floor with his legs spread and his arms up, and he's screaming at them, "Don't shoot him. He has a toy truck in his hand. He's mentally disabled." So the Asian cop comes over there, and he's saying this to him, and the Asian cop shoots the black guy laying on the floor on his back with his hands up. And you can hear in the thing, the guy said, "Oh my God, you shot me. Why?" And the Asian cop goes, "I don't know." And that's I don't know.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Someone says that the officer was Hispanic. He could have been Hispanic. Whatever he was, the bottom line is his race is not the factor here. What is the factor is that he shot this man while the man was on his back with his hands up. And then the guy asked him, "Why did you shoot me?" And he goes, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
People are given guns. People are not even, those people should not even be allowed to, I don't know, drive a car. Road rage. to give somebody like that a gun. And there's a lot of people mentioning here, like they're in the fear, they're fearing for their sons. I can hear, I see here in the chat, sons or somebody's life. Yeah, I every day, I don't know how people react to, and like everybody knows somebody who, or mostly everybody knows somebody with issues like that. It's a terrifying thing because you put your child out there and you don't know what the world would do to them. The world is messed up already, was messed up enough. And then when you put somebody who has challenges like that, communication, they don't react. They just, it's not their fault that they're big, they're tall, and they look intimidating, but they're not dangerous. They just don't communicate well. They don't react to put your hands up or stay on the ground. They don't know. They get frightened. And those police officers, they are not trained to deal with anything like that. They're not.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's terrible. Whether people want to say that this is really not a gun problem at this particular time, it's just a lack of training. It's really just a lack of training, and cops just not putting themselves on the line like they're supposed to, and their reaction is to save myself, make sure nothing happens to me before anything else. And I think that they're just quick on the trigger. We will highlight this comment here. It went really fast. I think, let's see if I can get it up there.
Sure.
Do you got it? Can you read that real quick? I don't know.
Let's see. I survived 5 combat tours while in Army, Iraq, Afghanistan, and 3 in South America. There's no way that we would get away with the things that the police get away with here. And that's by Mandrell 211.
Yeah, so you could go to war in war-torn countries, and that doesn't happen. People aren't getting shot like that. But you come back to the United States of America, where it's not supposed to be a military type of police situation, and people are getting shot like that. When you're at war, you treat other civilians in other countries as you should treat them right. But those people are treated better by soldiers than the actual police treat the citizens of the United States of their own communities. And they need to stop. There needs to be something done. This to me was a huge miscarriage of justice, and I just think that it was wrong the way he got off. I'm terribly sad. I don't wish jail on anybody. Right? Jail is not a nice place. I don't want anyone to go to jail. I don't want anyone to do any time. But God damn it, I thought that we had a win here. And I mean that as the people, as a Black community, I thought we really had a win that turned out to be a loss. And it's sad. I can't believe. I know people personally who have been in jail for manslaughter who've done much more than 10 years. Not even murder. And this sounds like a Teflon story coming on right now. I will give one real quick. My man, my really good friend of mine. He's a really great guy. And he's out right now. And I would say his name is Buddy. That's his nickname, is Buddy. And Buddy, he was chilling. He was from Palmanok Projects out there. And he got into a situation with some people. And they were shooting at him. And he ran away, and they were chasing him, shooting him down. And he tried to run up on the rooftop, and they followed him up on the rooftop. And he wound up shooting these people and killing one of them. And he got over 10 years. And when you're in that situation, what was he supposed to do? Was he wrong that he got himself in the situation, that he was living a lifestyle that allowed him to be in a situation like that? Yes. No doubt about it. But when you're in that situation, when people are shooting you and you've run away and they're still shooting at you and you've run and done anything, and now your back is against the wall when you're on the rooftop of a 7-story building, there's nowhere to go. At that particular time, to me, it's self-defense.
Yeah.
And he did what he had to do, and he served way over 10 years. And now he's out. He served his time. He's out. He's a very respectable person. I would trust my life to that man without a shadow of a doubt. I would leave my kids in that man's presence without fear, because he's a really good guy who was in a bad situation. But the bottom line is, he served over 10 years, easy, over 10 years for that.
Yeah.
And this chick is in no situation like that at all. Her life wasn't threatened like that. She wasn't being shot down, run down, or anything like that. And she's not going to serve as much time as my man
Mhm.
did at all.
Yeah, terrifying. Imagine being at your own home and somebody like that just barges in and claims,
Yeah,
I thought it was my house. Really?
yeah,
Really?
yeah. You're sitting there eating ice cream, watching Thursday night football,
Yeah.
and now you're dead.
Yeah.
Now you're dead. Now you're dead.
Yeah.
You're dead because this woman, this person has decided that, hey, I thought I was in my apartment. I'm gonna shoot and kill you while you're sitting there eating ice cream on your couch.
Yeah.
Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting.
Everything about it.
It truly is. I think we have given all of our thoughts
Yes.
on this podcast about this. I want to thank everybody again for joining us here live on the Lady and the Don podcast live. We will be back, and next time, I promise I will do my best to get that phone number up and running. As I said, it was just because of the that we are here on this new what am I saying? This is not
Yeah.
OBS. All right. On this
No
new, so it's
streaming stuff.
new
Platform.
streaming
I'm not sure.
software that we're using. I
Yeah.
just don't know exactly how to get it to allow calls. If it was OBS, I would have been able to get it to allow calls. So
Mhm.
that is the problem. So Joey Fry, thank you for coming out here. Bernie L, thank you for coming out here. That's what is that? That's a memories.
That was in memories. I'm not sure. It's a very, very. It's an amazing. I'm sure it pronounced properly, but I don't know how to pronounce that.
I want to shout out that's some memories. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Toka's 420. You know what I mean? Tony, I will put people up there. Won't screen the calls. We'll let the haters say what they got to say. Bernie L, thank you for rocking with us again. Everybody else, thank you for rocking. Santovia.
Santivia.
Santavia. I always mess up her name.
Santivia Major. I love that name.
Santavia Major. I always mess up her name. And until next time, you can find us on. Find us on Podbean. Subscribe to the Lady and Don podcast. Subscribe to Teflon TV. Subscribe to Living My Rhapsody. All on YouTube. Thank you, as always, Elamar, for rocking with me. I could not do it without you.
My pleasure, Tony. It's always a fun time here.
No doubt. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.